All right, listeners, are you ready to pump up those shoulders? We're diving deep into the world of shoulder training today. You guys sent over a ton of articles on shoulder exercises, and we're ready to break it all down.
That's right. We've got articles from Barpen Fitness Volt Strength Log and Set for Set, all about building stronger shoulders.
Yeah, we're going to take all that info and turn it into something you can actually use. So get ready for a deep dive into shoulder anatomy, the best exercises, and some training tips to help you get the most out of your workouts.
Sounds good. Let's start with the basics. Shoulder Anatomy 101.
Okay, so the shoulder has always seemed pretty complex to me.
Well, it is. It's one of the most mobile joints in your body,
Mm.
which means it's also one of the most prone to injury.
That makes sense.
Sure.
So how do we avoid those injuries?
Well, first you need to understand the anatomy of the shoulder. You have three main deltoid muscles, the anterior, medial, and posterior.
So the front, side, and back.
Exactly. And each one plays a different role in shoulder movement.
Okay, I'm following you.
Yeah.
So how do we train all three heads effectively?
That's where the exercises come in. And thankfully, the articles you sent cover a wide range of exercises for each deltoid head.
Okay, cool. Let's start with the anterior deltoid. What are some of the best exercises for that one?
Well, barbell overhead press is a classic for a reason.
Yeah, I see that one mentioned a lot.
It's a compound exercise, meaning it works multiple muscle groups at the same time.
So it's not just for shoulders.
Right. It also engages your triceps, upper back, and core.
Wow. So it's a pretty efficient exercise.
It is. And it's very functional, too.
Yeah.
Think about all the times you lift things overhead in daily life. The overhead press strengthens that movement pattern.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the barbell overhead press. What else is good for the anterior deltoid?
Well, the dumbbell shoulder press is another great option.
What's the difference between that and the barbell version?
Well, dumbbells allow for a greater range of motion and independent arm movement.
So it's more joint friendly.
Exactly.
Right.
And it can also help address any strength imbalances you might have between sides.
Interesting. Okay, and I see something called the Arnold press. What is that?
Ah, the Arnold press. That's a variation of the dumbbell shoulder press that adds a rotation element as you press the weights up.
Oh, okay. So it's a bit more advanced.
It can be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
you need good shoulder mobility and control to do it properly.
Gotcha. Okay, so those are some compound exercises for the anterior deltoid. What about isolation exercises?
For isolating the front delts, you've got a variety of front raise options. Dumbbell front raises, barbell front raises, even plate front raises.
So many choices. What's the key to getting the most out of those?
Control. That's the key takeaway. Focus on slow, controlled movements and really squeeze those front delts at the top of each rep.
Makes sense. Okay, so we've covered the anterior deltoid. Now let's move on to the medial deltoid. What are some of the best exercises for that one?
The medial deltoid is all about building shoulder width, and the go-to exercise for that is the lateral raise.
Lateral raises. Yeah, I've heard of those. What are some different variations?
Well, you've got dumbbell lateral raises, cable lateral raises, and machine lateral raises.
So again, we've got options. What are the pros and cons of each?
Dumbbells require more stabilization from your muscles. Cables provide constant tension throughout the movement. And machines offer more stability if you need it.
So it's about choosing the right tool for the job.
Exactly. And one thing Set for Set emphasizes is controlling that eccentric or lowering phase of the lift. It's all about feeling that burn.
Okay, I've heard that before. Why is the lowering phase so important?
Because that's where you're really building strength and muscle. You're resisting gravity instead of just letting the weight drop.
Okay, I'm going to focus on that more. All right, so we've hit the anterior and medial deltoid. What about the posterior deltoid?
Ah, the often neglected rear delts. These are so important for shoulder health and posture, especially for people who spend a lot of time sitting.
Oh man, that's me. What are the best exercises for those?
Face pulls are the clear winner here.
Face pulls, I've seen those in the gym. What makes them so great?
Well, they work your rear delts, of course, but they also help improve posture and overall shoulder health.
Awesome. And they don't require a lot of weight, right?
Right, it's more about quality reps than heavy weight.
Gotcha. I'm going to add those to my routine. What about reverse flies?
Reverse flies are another great exercise for the rear delts. You can do them with cables, dumbbells, or even on the pec deck machine.
Speaking of the pec deck, Set for Set had a really funny tip for doing reverse flies on that machine. They said to imagine you're hugging a giant tree and trying to open a bag of chips.
I love that. It's such a vivid image.
Yeah.
It really helps you understand the proper form.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of exercises here. Is there anything else we need to know before we move on to training tips?
I think we've hit all the major deltoid exercises. You've done a fantastic job curating this selection. You've really highlighted the most effective exercises for each deltoid head.
Great. But wait, there's more. We can't talk about shoulder training without emphasizing safety. And you've included some great exercises for keeping those shoulders healthy.
Absolutely. You've got dead hangs, band pull-aparts, and internal-external rotations, all from set for set. These are fantastic for improving mobility, stability, and preventing those dreaded shoulder injuries.
No, I know we touched on this earlier, but can you explain why these exercises are so important? I think some people might wonder why they need to do these if they're already doing all these other exercises.
That's a great point. It's easy to think that lifting heavy weights is all you need for strong shoulders, but that's not the whole picture. These exercises target the smaller stabilizing muscles around the shoulder joint, which are often overlooked.
So it's like having a strong support system for those bigger muscles.
Exactly. Think of it like this. If you have a strong foundation, you can build a taller, more stable building. These exercises help create that strong foundation for your shoulders. And they're not just for seasoned lifters. They're beneficial for everyone.
And here's where it gets really interesting, because healthy shoulders mean you can keep training consistently and avoid setbacks. It's all about longevity.
That's the key takeaway here. A healthy shoulder is a happy shoulder. And a happy shoulder means you can keep crushing your fitness goals.
Okay, so we're building a solid foundation for those shoulders.
Yeah.
Got it. What else can we do to prevent injuries and keep those shoulders healthy?
Well, warming up properly is crucial. And Set for Set also recommends incorporating exercises like dead hangs, band pull-aparts, and internal-external rotations.
I've seen those, but I have to admit, I don't always do them. Why are they so important?
They're all about improving mobility and stability in the shoulder joint, which helps prevent injuries down the road.
So they're kind of like prehab for your shoulders?
Exactly. It's better to prevent an injury than to try to rehab it later.
Makes sense. All right, so we've talked about the anatomy, the exercises, and the importance of shoulder health. What else do we need to know to take our shoulder training to the next level?
Let's move on to some training tips. These articles are packed with valuable insights.
Okay, I'm all ears.
One thing that really stood out to me was Set for Set's emphasis on full range of motion, especially for presses.
I think I'm guilty of not always going through a full range of motion.
Yeah, a lot of people do. But it's so important for maximizing muscle growth and preventing injuries.
Okay, I'm going to pay more attention to that. What else?
Another great tip from Set for Set is to focus on progressive overload, even with those smaller isolation exercises.
That's a good point. I've always struggled with how to make lateral raises harder without just adding more weight.
Well, they suggest strategies like slowing down the tempo, adding pauses, or even increasing the number of sets or reps.
I like that. It's about finding ways to challenge yourself even when you can't add more weight.
Exactly. And finally, Fitness Volt makes a great point about the importance of variety.
Okay, I'm a big fan of variety. Why is it so important for shoulder training?
Because it helps prevent plateaus and keeps your muscles guessing. You don't want to do the same exercises with the same weight week after week.
Right. It's about challenging your body in new ways.
Exactly. So mix things up. Try different equipment, different exercises, different rep ranges.
So basically, don't be afraid to experiment.
Exactly. That's how you find what works best for you.
Awesome. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today, but what does this all mean for our listener?
It means that building strong, healthy shoulders is totally achievable. You've got the knowledge, the exercises, and the training tips. That's it, just a matter of putting it all together.
Right. We've given you the tools. It's up to you to build the house.
Exactly. And remember, consistency is key. You're not going to see results overnight, but if you stick with it, you'll eventually get there.
That's such an important point. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly. And enjoy the journey. It's not just about the end result. It's about the process of getting stronger and healthier.
I love that. Okay, so we've talked about a lot of different exercises today, but how do we actually put them all together into a workout routine?
That's a great question. And there's no one-size-fits-all answer. It really depends on your individual goals and experience level.
Right. So where can our listener go for more guidance on that?
Well, the articles we've been discussing offer some great sample workout routines and training splits.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. So you don't have to start from scratch.
Not at all. Use those as a starting point and then adjust them based on your own needs and preferences.
Awesome. Okay, so that's it for our deep dive into shoulder training.
Not quite. We still have to wrap up.
Oh, right. You're right. We can't forget about the outro. Okay, so we've given them the tools. Now it's up to them to go out and build those strong shoulders.
Exactly. And you know what might inspire them even more?
What's that?
What if this deep dive inspires someone to finally conquer that handstand push-up?
Oh, wow. Now that's a challenging exercise.
It is. It takes incredible shoulder strength, stability, and control.
Yeah, but imagine the feeling of accomplishment when you finally nail it.
Exactly. It's a great goal to work towards.
So to all our listeners out there, don't be afraid to challenge yourselves. Step outside of your comfort zones, try those new exercises, and most importantly, have fun with it.
I love that fitness should be enjoyable. It's about celebrating what your body can do and pushing yourself to new limits.
Well said. We've loved exploring these sources with you, and we can't wait to see what you achieve.
And remember, this is a journey, not a destination. Enjoy the process, celebrate your progress, and keep pushing yourself to new limits.
Absolutely. So keep those shoulders strong, keep learning, and keep diving deep. We'll see you next time.